Pixar movies whose ending you misunderstood, part 24. If you watched Luca, Kyle, and said that the ending was lazy because you were hellbent on the idea that it was setting up a sequel, congratulations, you not only misunderstood the film, but you misunderstand how stories work. Kyle here seems to be baffled at the idea that a story could end in a way that could be continued but is not going to be. Newsflash, Kyle, lots of great stories with no sequels have open endings. Is WALL-E sequel bait because it had a half-baked cliffhanger, Kyle? How about Ratatouille, Kyle? Do you think that was lazy writing? Despite its popularity, Kyle, the director of Luca said that there was never an intention for a sequel. I made an entire video about that, Kyle. But apparently that doesn't matter, Kyle, because there is nothing to disagree about. All those drawings in the credits that straight up tell you what happens after the film, I guess that's just promotion for the sequel, right, Kyle? Or the post-credit scene, which was literally just outtakes of Sacha Baron Cohen's recording sessions, Kyle. Was that just the backdoor pilot for, like, Uncle Ugo spinoff? I guess finishing the main character's arcs and paying off everything set up in the movie doesn't constitute a complete film, right, Kyle? Alright, snarkiness aside, that comment has lived rent-free in my head for 3.5 years because it is such an intriguing example of the current state of media literacy. I don't know how old our friend Kyle here is, but I get the impression that he's young. And if you grew up during the Pixar sequel era, you might be inclined to believe that any story that has any kind of dangling thread is going to be followed up. The Incredibles and Inside Out both had what Kyle would say is a half-baked cliffhanger, and both of those did end up getting sequels, albeit years later. But those films were not originally written with the intention of having a sequel. To my knowledge, no Pixar film was ever written with the express intent to make a sequel. They were all written to be standalone or self-contained conclusive films. Some of them, like Inside Out or Toy Story, ended in a way that you could easily pick up, but they ended that way to give the audience the opportunity to imagine what might happen with these characters. But then, when Disney saw how successful Toy Story 2 and 3 were, not just financially, but narratively, they ordered a butt ton of sequels once they acquired Pixar. And that's not just speculation. Andrew Stanton openly said he would never wanted to make a sequel to Finding Nemo, but they basically had no choice. But beyond Pixar, the 2010s just saw a huge increase in high-budget blockbuster sequels and franchise films. Marvel, DC, Sony, Fast and Furious, all of these films are made with endings specifically to allow for endless continuation, regardless of if sequels were even greenlit when they made the first film. So films like Luca or Elemental that have endings that you could see easily continuing, but there's no intention to, feel like novelties. But as I said, many great stories, not just movie, but fiction in general, are purposefully left open for interpretation. If you would like to learn more about why, I have a book recommendation for you. But honestly, I don't actually blame Kyle for having this kind of mindset. I blame Hollywood, mostly Disney. When Disney saw just how much money theatrically released sequels make, Disney saw the opportunity to wring every single dollar they could out of the IPs that they bought. They have trained their audiences to expect endless franchises.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
And the films that actually want to be standalone suffer the consequences.